This is Amy Chan with CakeDecoratingSchool.com, and if you like cake decorating, you're in the right place. If you're interested in these products, check out the links in the description. In this video, we are talking about the fondant that we use when we're decorating cakes. We do decorate primarily buttercream cakes because that's just what we get asked for most, but we do go through a significant amount of fondant a year, which means that it's not really cost effective or efficient to make it ourselves. So we typically buy our white in the 20-pound buckets. We love Satin. It's a really reliable, dependable brand. It's an easy to use product, especially if you're just beginning to work with fondant. And it's a good price, and you can get these nice big buckets of it. So if you're going through quite a bit, it's a really good buy. They also make their fondant in a variety of colors. So you can buy smaller buckets of things that maybe use often that are hard to make. So one color that I always buy is black. I do not want to mix black fondant. It takes way too much food coloring, even when you're using gel paste, and it is super, super messy. So that's one really good buy, and we always keep it on hand. Especially we've had a couple of years where black cakes, especially for weddings, were really popular. So we even bought this in a larger size for a while too. So keeping some of those really dark, intense colors on hand if you do a lot of fondant work can be a real time saver, because then you can add a little white and make a dark gray, and you can adjust and tweak those kind of primary shades that they make. For those of you wondering how it comes, these buckets have a nice, really tight lid and a nice seal, and there'll be a little food safety security tab here that you pop off, and then you'll be able to remove that lid, and inside there will be a big old bag containing your fondant. So it's easiest, especially at first, to remove the whole thing from the bucket, peel the bag back down, and then you can use what I typically use would be a bench scraper to get some of that off, the appropriate amount you need, and I've already taken a little off right here. And so anytime you're using fondant, if you want to, say, cover a cake, you're going to need more. You should estimate about how many pounds you're going to need and have your scale handy so you can weigh that. And then you're going to want to warm it up and knead it a little bit before you work with it. So there's a bunch of stuff in fondant that keeps it relatively firm. And before you work with it and roll it out, you need to warm it up a little bit so that it's pliable. And that'll allow you then to mix in color. Let's say if I wanted to make a light pink or something else, or if I'm just going to use white, to go ahead and start rolling it. And anytime you roll it, you either want to use some powdered sugar or a little vegetable shortening to make sure that it doesn't stick to your surface or to your rolling pin. And in this case, I'm just going to use a little powdered sugar. Right? And it's easy with a good fondant rolling pin to roll it out nice and even. Some rolling pins come with guides. You can make your own using wooden slats so you can control your thickness. Right? And once you get it to the desired thickness, it's perfect for either cutting out some shapes or covering a cake with, right? So it's a nice, pliable product. If you roll it quickly, it'll be easy to apply to the cake without cracking. And if you're working on projects and you have excess, say of a color you made, and you can't put it back with your big chunk, you can wad up your excess. Use a little vegetable shortening to coat the outside, and then wrap it in some plastic wrap. And then typically I'll stick this inside a Ziploc bag, and I'll put it back in the bucket on top of my bag of fondant so that I'm storing the excess in a nice airtight container. And there's kind of several layers of wrapping. You have the saran wrap, then you'd have a Ziploc bag, and then you'd also be inside an airtight container. Anytime you're storing fondant, you want to store it at room temperature and away from light, and that'll help keep it at its kind of maximum freshness for the longest. Basically, you want to make sure that the product's stored well covered, and a nice sealed container so that it's not drying out, because then you'll get kind of crusty hard areas that can't be kneaded back in. So you want to be sure that, especially if you're buying in large quantities and not using it right away, that you're handling it properly so that you can maximize its shelf life. In addition to being easy to use and coming in a lot of great sizes and colors, the Satin Ice Fondant is also vegan, dairy-free, kosher, and I think that's it. Yeah. So it's great for a lot of different dietary needs as well. So that's another reason that I buy it, because if someone says, I'm vegan, I can use their fondant and I know it's safe to use for my customers. So it's a great buy if you're looking for a ready-to-use fondant. If you like this video and you're interested in more about cake decorating equipment and materials, or just inspirational videos about cake decorating itself, you can follow us on Insta or YouTube at Cake Decorating School. If you're interested in yearly membership and what it entails, you can find more information at www.cakedecoratingschool.com. And if you're interested in any of these products, you can check out the links in the description.